if your business or side hustle, if it's not full time, it's a hobby. I don't care what anybody says. It is a hobby. Because the grind as an entrepreneur doing this thing full time is completely different than somebody having a main nest egg and just doing this on the side. Because the biggest jump for me was, yes, like Shots by Nick was thriving, but I was also charging like $500 for a shoot. That is not sustainable to maintain my lifestyle. So in retrospect, or going at it for the second time, now my prices actually cover my expenses. I call it my noodle budget, basically. And this is something I think especially a lot of creatives don't do because they don't understand the business side of it. Like, you don't want to just go look and see what your competitors' prices are because you don't know how they came up with that price. You don't know if this person, you don't know if this photographer is doing this as a hobby or if he's feeding 4 kids. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference in price. So when you're like, oh, well, I'm seeing everybody averaging $250 to $500, you don't know what their bills are. You don't know what their overhead expense is. You don't know nothing. You don't know if this is just literally allowance. Like, because for me, I was happy with $500 because that was just on top of my corporate check. You know what I mean? So I was cool with that. But once I quit my job and I didn't have that nest egg, $500 ain't going to keep the lights on. It's just not going to keep the lights on. Yeah. So I would tell anybody before you decide to like jump out and try to do this full time, literally adjust your rates and stuff as if this was the only thing that could sustain you. Like, literally implement your business policies and stuff like that in a way that you know this is the only thing that could sustain you. Because the other thing is, sometimes you might negotiate your prices. If it's just a hobby, you might like lower your price. Like, who cares? But if you literally like, this has to pay your light bill, you're not going to be as willing to like bump down your prices and stuff like that. You just not. You're not going to be as flexible. So I would say literally look at your budget, your overhead expense, and really figure out like, how much do I actually want to bring in profit a year? How much do I need to sustain me, which is your noodle budget? And then how much do you want like some wiggle room, you know, some play money on top of that? And literally set your prices and everything accordingly. Do that from jump start. Like, don't start it out as a hobby. Like, literally do this. Look at it as a business from the beginning.
That's good. That's good.
Me and one of my colleagues, one of my members of my brokerage, we partnered to do these webinars because we were getting so many questions. And she kind of said, okay, you know what, let's do the Reel of Real Estate and let's do like weekly or monthly lives and let's kind of have the conversation of what's really going on behind the scenes. And I said, let's monetize that because this information is so valuable. It should have a price tag on it. And I hate to say it that bluntly, that directly, but it is what it is. So I have, you know, these webinars on different topics. And the very first one that we decided to do was the biggest one. Real estate is not a side hustle. It's not. This is not one of those little things like, yeah, I do real estate on the side. I would never trust a realtor that's just kind of like, that's like my little, like braiding hair, that's something you can do on Saturdays and Sundays or something. Someone spending $500,000 on where they lay their head at night is not something that I take lightly, and I wouldn't want that to be taken lightly from someone whose services I'm utilizing.
Literally a week later, that was like the first week of December, that next week, they told us we having this random meeting out of nowhere at work. Walked us into a room. I saw a table full of envelopes on the back of the room. I'm getting chills right now just talking about it. And I was like, this the day. Because they were making so many changes. I knew that it was coming. I didn't know it was going to be so widespread. I thought it was literally just going to be my team.
That is crazy.
So that day they told us, yeah, y'all will be, your last day will be February 6th. So I was like, everybody in the room crying, and then I'm like, yes, thank God. And we get severance. Look at God. So that severance was like 4 months worth of pay. I'm like, this is my opportunity. I called my dad. Oh, then that weekend, I found a suite out here. And I called my dad, and I was like, Dad, I found a salon suite. I got this much money. I got 4 months.
I'm about to do it.
He was like, you kind of would be a fool not to try it. And it's from there, I got the suite. I turned in my paper and my laptop and all that stuff on the 6th, and I was full time that next day.